some people might think we're going to get some points in this one as Xavier taking on Texas. Texas now 4.5-point favorite. It looks like 148.5. That has come down a little bit. I saw it as high as 150 here last night. So the market seems to be reversing course a little. 9:45 Eastern time tip. Again, this is out in the Midwest. This will come right after the Miami and Houston game. So, Drew, what do you think? Big East versus Big 12, two of the better conferences this year. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, great game, Joe. And you're right, two of the better conferences. And I actually think Texas, not enough people are talking about the job Rodney Terry's been doing here. Of course, Chris Beard, the troubles that he had early in the season, and then Rodney Terry taking over. And the Big 12 conference, in all likelihood, the best conference in college basketball this season. And Texas won the Big 12. So keep that in mind, guys. And also reading Mark Lawrence's newsletter here, some good stats he brought up coaching-wise in this game, Joe. First off, Rodney Terry, his time in Fresno State and UTEP, he's 40-24 against the spread as a road and neutral site. So keep that in mind for the Texas side. And for Xavier here, keep in mind, Sean Miller, their head coach, went out to Arizona. I guess he had his troubles as well. But he's 8-1 against the spread as a dog in the tournament. That from Mark Lawrence here. So kind of some trends that point in coaching-wise. And I bring that up mainly because, like Steve was talking about, this is Friday game here. We get that extra time. I think coaching matters more, in the round one, in Sweet 16, whereas it's a little bit more just kind of go out and play in the round of 32 and then in the Elite Eight because it's a shorter turnaround here. So I think coaching kind of comes to the forefront. Both of these two coaches, really good coaches on the court. Overall, Joe, I think side-wise, it's very difficult here. I'd probably take the points with Xavier, but I'm not looking to step in front of this Longhorns team. And you talked about the total coming down. Of course, unders in the tournament hitting at a really high rate here. But if we get these foul calls, I think we're going to get a whole lot of possessions. You look at these kind of metrics, both teams kind of like to push it, Joe. I could see this being a high-scoring game. We got a couple of high-scoring games last night. This might be another one here. So as we see, 147 now, looking at the WagerTalk Live odds screen, I think it gets up and over, Joe.
Yep, up, getting some points. Well, listen, we know which version of Xavier shows up, Jimmy, because we know they're going to be running up and down the damn court. It don't make a damn bit of difference. And if those shots start going early, Texas has shown an ability to do two things. One, slow down if that's the way you want to play it, or B, speed up if that's the way you want to play it. They're really good adjusting like that for games. I don't know. You looking at a side or are you looking at a total in this one?
Looking at the side, and you bring up some really good points, Joe. I think Texas is going to have to keep this game low scoring if they want to get the win and certainly the cover. Look, I've been very impressed with what I've seen from the Longhorns, especially on the defensive end, not only in this tournament but going back all the way to the Big 12 tournament as well. However, I think the Longhorns have a huge challenge on their hands here, taking on this Xavier offense. Look, Musketeers a top 10 team in points per game, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and they do a much better job rebounding as well. So Texas can adjust to what Xavier wants to do, but they're going to have to keep this game low scoring, I think. Look, Xavier, this is the best team in the Big East at shooting the three. And they have a way of getting defenses on their heels through phenomenal ball movement. And that's where, if you're going to get Texas, this is the way to do it. They lead the nation in assists per game, and that's just, evidenced by their ball movement here. So aside from keeping it low scoring, look, the Musketeers, they just have way too many weapons on offense. 5 players average at double digits in scoring. Jack Nunge going to be a real problem for Texas and this defense. Laying points with the Longhorns against this Xavier offense, not something I have any interest in. I think we have a live dog on our hands. Give me Xavier and possibly to win outright.
Yeah, it's intriguing, too, because I know some people have looked and said, well, they don't have Zach Fremantle. Well, they haven't had him for 14 games, and yet their numbers, believe it or not, have actually gotten better, both defensively and offensively, with him on the court in those 14 games. So it's not as big a miss as some people like to think it is, Merril, but at the same time, they're only going to be rolling 6, 7 dudes out there. They're not a very deep team. So they better get it done with the 6 guys that they got in that rotation, because Texas is a much deeper team here when it comes down to it.
Well, and of course, this being the early week game benefits Xavier in that regard. They're going to have a quick turnaround. They do when they have to play against Sunday on 1 day's rest. But I don't think they get to that Sunday game. Texas is the better team. And Xavier plays very fast, very good offensive team. They're actually the better offensive team in this game, but Texas holds a substantial defensive edge, 10th defense versus 62nd in efficiency. And this is something I talk a lot about during the season. And right now there's only 3 teams remaining in the tournament that are top 15, both offense and defensive efficiencies. It's Houston, Connecticut, who looked really good last night, and Texas. Even Alabama, the number 1 overall seed, is not both. They're 18th in offense, 3rd in defense. So this is a really good and balanced Texas team. And as we've seen, for the most part, that can make the difference in close games. I think Xavier is also fortunate to be at this point in the tournament. They had a terrible first game against Kennesaw State as a 3 seed. They're a 12-point favorite. They were losing outright, don't forget, by 13 points to that 14 seed. That looked like another upset. Xavier found a way to win by 5, never came close to the cover. And then I actually had a best bet on Xavier last week, and I thought it was a good spot off that bad showing to play against Pittsburgh, who's playing their 3rd game in 5 days after the play-in round. So Xavier's had a pretty easy road, huge step up in class here. And let me tell you a little story about a bad beat, and that was the Texas Longhorns, my strongest play of the week last weekend on Saturday. They went 1 for 13 from 3-point range, and they still failed to cover by only half a point. They should have won that game easy by double digits. They're up 7. They missed the front end of a 1-and-1. They foul a guy taking a 3 for some reason at the other end, and they win by 5 as a 5.5-point favorite. And to make it worse, it was my strongest play of the weekend. I mean, a game I should have definitely won and covered. So I think Texas is an underrated team right now, and I think they win in advance.
Yeah, if Penn State had shot just a little bit better, it would have been – that would have been ugly. I couldn't believe what was unfolding there. But, hey, they advance, and they have an opportunity to do so again tonight, which I ultimately think is going to be the most entertaining game of the night here. So get ready. Xavier and Texas battling here tonight in one of the late games.